गुरुभ्यो परमगुरुभ्यो श्रीमदानंदतीर्थ भगवत् पादाचार्योभ्यो नमो नमः। नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विश्वोदय स्थितितोलय नियति प्रताय ज्ञान प्रताय विबुधा सुर सौख्य दुःख सत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते। यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीत मतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुवि तत्त्ववादम् सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे। सहना भवतु सहनौ पुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Friends, I think we have gone into the third mantra. We have seen part of it as it is. So, because the first five mantras, I said, it falls into a group in which, it is highlighting whatever we have gone through this particular Upanishad. And it is trying to highlight further, because at a sublime level, it is a subtle level. When we see, when we always talk about the body, mind, and intellect, and when we see, all the senses, all the objects, and because we also see, all the sense the stimulations, sapta sparsha rupa rasa gandha. The senses are able to get only the stimulants are there, unless you have the touch, smell, as well as you are able to get the feel of it, form of it. You are able to see it, and when you heard the because someone speaks, you are able to hear the words. Then only you are able to get. These are all these sensibilities, the senses and sensibilities. The sensibilities only make the senses to get into the world and understand the world. The object also has got inbuilt sensibilities. Unless the sensibilities attract each other, they may not be, because you will not be able to get attracted to the world. Supposing, if I don't understand what is a good taste, of a particular sweet, I will not get, I will never get attracted. But after all, if unless I know how a coffee will taste, and I will not be getting into the coffee. But the first time when I got the coffee taste, because I was finding, it was little bitter and all. Maybe it is time I remember when I was young, because in my house everyone was taking coffee. So I also had to take the coffee. I didn't like it, because because as a child you may not like it. You may like something sweet and all. But then, slowly you get used to it, and then it becomes an addiction. Then, it becomes an habit. Without habit, coffee you can't live like that. It goes on. But these are all the sensibilities that we get used to it. Without these sensibilities, the sapsa sparsha rupa rasa gandha, which we have seen the last mantra, they are the one which takes you into this world and makes you part of this world. But once you understand, it is these the senses, the sensibilities which are taking into you, you will be able to use it to regulate your senses. You will not fall for that, because if I am a diabetic, I'm not supposed to be taking too many sweets, but I may be having a favorite sweet. If it is in front of me, I think I would not hesitate to take one more, even if it is not good for me, because I'm a diabetic, I'm not supposed to be taking too many sweets. But I get attracted, and then I think, because I feel, because maybe I will take some medicine. I will take one more dose of the medicine, and first let me have it, because it is in front of me, because I may not get a chance to have it and all. Because if I could sort of curb my urge to have one more, because even our bodily things are also, when you take something more than what you need, then only the bodily affliction takes place. In Ayurveda, what they tell is, take the food as the medicine. So when you are able to take the appropriate food in appropriate quantity at the appropriate time, see, you should not be taking, because they say, you should not take curd in the night. So in Ayurveda, when they say curd in the night, curd is good. But then, it does have certain qualities. But when you take it in the night, your system will not be able to get it. And, because to counter that, to digest that, it has to produce so many other enzymes which is not desired at that point of time. Because you should have easily digestible, so that because when you have the night, when the melanin is being formed, when you are sleeping and all, you need the particular, your digestive system should be free. And after some period of time, you should not be overworking. If you have a heavy dinner and go to bed, you will find totally, uncomfortable to sleep even. Not only your digestive system, the whole thing will not work like that. When we mean a regulation, everything appropriately to the extent we need, because that is we are not able to control, because our senses are addicted to certain things, which we like. Once we have a dispassionate idea, yes, because this is what I should have. If at all I have it, I will have it only in the morning. If at all I have it, I will not have more than, because couple of spoons. So when you have that regulation, that your body will be able to take. It is life is also like that. When the sensibilities take you, all the sensibilities, they give you an attraction. And depending upon the age, your mind setup and the circumstances in which you are there, and your company in which you are keeping, because they are all playing a part in bringing your senses to attracted to certain things and all. This is what first two, three mantras we have seen, because the first two mantras talked about the vairagya. Vairagya in the sense not that totally give up all your desires and all. It is how to regulate your senses, because your senses will have to work after all. Because when you are seeing a sort of a very good picture, if you are able to, when you are portrait, if you are able to appreciate, you should be able to see the nook and corner of it. And if you have got the wherewithal, because some of us may be endowed with the knowledge of the how a portrait should, what type of a portrait it is, what because who has drawn it, because what are all the special effects of that, you will be able to do that. But if I am totally sort of uninitiated, for me all portraits are same, because it doesn't have any many senses and all. But if you have the ability, special ability to understand, you should be able to use your senses. So use senses appropriately when you have to get certain things into you, when you are able to learn, when you are able to have the repository of the knowledge and all. In a laboratory, all scientists are working on so many things, but they are not working on aimlessly, because they take a particular sort of a goal, but they want to see how the reaction is, and they want to record the reaction, and what are all the ingredients, because what are all the sort of the elements that have gone about it, and what is the process, because they will have to note down everything, and finally they will have to see, and they will have to go on finding out, because they always look for some quality which should be coming out of the output of this entire reaction. And sometimes it may be a non-reactant also. If it doesn't react, because it may be useful for certain things, without reaction, if you have to get certain things done, because in the industry there are so many places it should not react, but at the same time it should be present. Because because we have got certain things, because we call it as a catalyst. Catalyst doesn't react, but the catalyst is able to produce certain results, because the presence of it gives a condition in which because the reaction takes place. So likewise, because vanadium pentoxide, because we have seen so many other things, that's being used and all. So likewise, that is what is required in order to say, but you should not totally get out of the way to get indulgence. The first two mantras talked about parang pashyati, because when you see, because when your senses are going outside, because the parancha vyataranath, because the god is Swayambhu, who he has given the senses to go out and learn, because that's how you will have to get the knowledge. But when if you are not tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman, once you get into the world and only you go on seeing it, because without getting the knowledge that it has given by learning it, but you are only going about, in your sort of wayward journey into the world, then you will not be able to get anything. You will be a sort of a rolling stone without any masses. You learn it, and to that extent you use it. Na antaratman. You are not able to reflect it back. So then the first mantra only said, Kashchit Dhiraha, the one who has seen the wisdom of the world, who has seen everything and all, they are able to akshat, because they are able to see, what it is, they are able to, avrta sakshu, they were able to internalize, because what you see, because a person who is learning a sitar or a violin and all, first few months, he will only be trying to get the notes clear. Even to get the simple notes clear, it takes, because it's the deftness of the fingers, the way, you move the bow, and all those things are required. But finally, when you have everything together, when you are able to do, because when you are able to perfect in each note, then you are able to get into the further, progression of playing a few lines and playing a song and all. Then you will be good. But you need the fundamentals of getting the notes very clear. So this is exactly because, people are in a hurry, because we want to, be in the rat race of the world. You just forget about, what is the fundamentals you should have and all, because that is how, we get into the trouble. But in that, what will happens, we dissipate our energy into too many things and too many indulgence, and finally we don't get, we are jack of all trade but master of none. That's what it happens in the world. It also says like that, because the mantra says, because when you go about everything and all, finally you see, at the end of the day, what is the goal, what you are finding out, what is that, you are up to. This is exactly the one which I have sent from Federico Faggi. He talked about it. He is a scientist. I told you, his achievements are no mean. He is the first inventor of the microchip, and he is the one who has invented this touchpad and touch screen, which we are all using in our mobile and everywhere and all. Having done that, he had an idea, is, because the machine may be able to produce the consciousness, if it can produce all those things. Because after all, what is the microchips and the random chips? They are also able, they are memory chips also. They have been able to make, the computations, calculations, and they are able to get the sort of store the information, and they are able to reproduce the information, process the information, and give it. The processed information is computed information. Finally, everyone is using, irrespective of the fact whether you are a scientist or a humanist or anything, socialist or socio-economist or psychologist, everyone is using that. Having done that, he thought that, but finally he understood it is not like that. It is something more than that. That what we call as the intuition. Intuition is the final arbiter of your knowledge and arbiter of your life in every turning point, because it doesn't have it. It is coming out. It is a processed intelligence, super intelligence, supra intelligence. What Arabindo calls it is a cosmic supra intelligence, in the sense, it is something which gives to every individual to get out of that, transcend their knowledge. Your intellect may be there, to transcend into your intellect, and finally it produces. You will not be able to logically analyze why it has said so. You might have taken a decision at some point of time by quirk of fate, people may call it, but it is not so. Because you had, visualized, you had some ambition, you wanted to do it, you worked for that, but you did everything and all, whatever is possible. But then, because when the time came, you were put at the right place at the right moment, at by the, and you could get the right person across. That happens. Why it happens? That's what we call as a God's grace. The God's grace, what we call is, because it is not something luck. Because if you get a lottery, it may be a luck, because we can call it. You don't have to work, because someone luck, in the sense, it is also a chance. The chance of, because if you see the probability theory, if you go to the statistical analysis, even the probability theory may also fail, but it can also be manipulated. Because human mind, wherever it has been there, you go to Las Vegas, they will ask you, they may make you to show that you are winning, few of the slot machines. But they will get you to get your enthusiasm into that. The moment you think, I have got this, let me go further into that, then you will find. Afterwards, you will only be a losing streak. It will be there. It's all enticing you. It's all designed like that. When a man designs, it's all like that. Why our Vedas are considered to be so supreme? It is never designed. It is Aupurusheya. You will not be able to point to it, because Rig Veda, first Ruk is written by, because we know the author, because we know these are all the rishis who have done, but all the rishis they have brought about, finally it is all combined and come in the form of Shrutis. How it has come? It is only by learning, hearing, and others and all. And it is not that, they have not tried to experiment what they have said and all. They have not brought into the world to see the practical value of whatever they have said. What they have realized is transcendent, is beyond, once they have gone. the senses and all the transcendence, finally the intuition was there. The intuitive statements have come into being, and they are all the Shrutis. That is why Veda stands for time immemorial, and it will be there for several yugas to continue, and they will be there, and they are all the base. To understand the Veda only, because something called Brahma Sutram was sort of written by Vyasa Krishna Dvaipayana. He himself is considered to be the avatar of Vishnu. In the sense, he wrote it so that people should be able to be guided by that sutras, the aphorisms, because Veda is it will give you different meaning and different time. Because if you see, we have got so many denominations of Dvaita, Advaita, Visishtadvaita, Suddhadvaita, and because then we have also got, because the Chaitanya Mahaprabhus, that they have also got another stream of this one. And apart from that, we have also got, because the Sankhya philosophy is there, Charvaka, so many things are there. But how, because with the same source, how so many things have come? Because it gives rise to so many meanings. How can it be one scripture? It can give so many meanings. Should it not be a sort of arbiter of all the things? And all? It should be able to say this is it. And all. That you can say only in the human laws. Human laws are defined by humans. Okay, you think what is a good law here need not necessarily be a good law elsewhere. The same law holds good here, but the law may not hold good elsewhere, because common law is okay. But there are certain specific laws. The law of torts is there in the UK. Even by your sort of unconscious action, if you give rise to some laws, you are responsible. The law of tort is there, but it cannot be applicable to in India, because because we don't accept that, we don't agree to that. But Vedas are not like that. So that's why what the great wise people, what they have done is, when you are looking into the Vedas with a particular, because looking for certain answers, when you go into the Veda, it gives you that answers. It's like a Kamadhenu. So like when you see, because I want to see, because what is, the unity of the Atman and the self, it will give you the answer. Because it has got the Vedavakya also there, Abheda Shrutis are also there. Kataka Shruti, which is sort of the getting both the, because the difference and non-difference together, there are also Shrutis are there. You can use any Shrutis to get the things in there. But all the great masters, when they have tried to propound their philosophy, they have gone into that, and they have tried to find, because what is that is applicable at that point of time, what they have thought, they've experienced. It's not that, they have simply been, it is called darshanas. See, Advaita and Dvaita, Visishtadvaita, they are all not philosophy per se, something they have written and all. They have experienced that. All of them have experienced the highest transcendence. So when they have experienced the highest transcendence, it is possible in all the streams, provided you religiously follow, and you follow the discipline of it, and finally you will be able to obtain that. But when you don't know, because when you don't experience that, when you don't go into that, but when you want to see, because what is the way of the world, what is the best I can do it. So in the current situation, because people can't get into that type of a disciplinary sort of adhyatma, to go through, because 12 years is a minimum that is required for a person to understand and sort of practice, the whatever Veda has written is 12 years is supposed to be the period for Adhyayana, even now. Unless you go through the 12 years of the rigorous Guru-Sishya relationship and understand, you will not be able to simply be selling, because this is what, because the Veda says and all. You may have read someone, who has written about Veda, but unless you read, understand, and yourself, because get, what is the feel of it, you will not be able to. Even you could have done the translation. It doesn't need necessarily, I don't know Sanskrit, how am I to read and all. For instance, Ralph Waldo Emerson has read the Rig Veda only through translation, but he was so attracted by the concept of Rig Veda, he has written a book. And one of his students has written, for his doctorate theory, because of what Ralph Waldo Emerson has thought about the Veda and what are the philosophy of Veda, he has written a book. And he's the 17th century, the great literature in US, and he has seen the translated, the Vedic literature, by Max Muller, Dusson, and others. And he has found, he was impressed by the concept, because the concepts are, I think it is trans sort of a galaxy. Anywhere in the world, people can understand. It is universal. It's not, that's why Vedas are not only confined to this country and all. Because the great concept we may not be able to appreciate, but the people have appreciated otherwise. Ralph Waldo Emerson or Henry David Thoreau, all of them have taken it, because Max Miller, once he have come here, and when he was seeing everything with a skepticism, but when he went into, of course, we may not be agreeing with some of the views and all, because he has written what he has understood. Because after all, we have to give him a credit. He has gone into the depth of it. He has analyzed, because every Upanishad, he has gone through, and he has seen, whether it is the same as that. And as a masterly, because he has the exposition he has done. Of course, because it may vary with, the darshanas, what our masters have seen. It is certainly a difference. But then they have made an attempt, to know that and all understood. That is how, because even W.B. Yeats, he wrote, because sort of a verse on Upanishad. Kathopanishad, he has written a verse. He had, some Indian who knew about Sanskrit, and he asked him to go through the Sanskrit and tell him what is it. And W.B. Yeats got so much of impressed by that, because he wrote a poem on that. Of course, he has written a very simple, lucid language, a person, sort of a common person can understand. It is a beautiful. In fact, you can go through the website and see, because what W.B. Yeats in the Upanishad translation, there's a verses are available. So they got impressed. There is a concept, and how, because the human mind have thought in those days, it has been like, Greek philosophy, how it has attracted the entire world. If you go to any Western university, first you will have to see the Plato's Republic. They teach you the Plato. It is nothing no different from our philosophy. It is all same, but then they have got their own approach. They got the own sort of the methodologies by which we have seen. All the Roman empires, they were all been following the Greek philosophy only in their entire, the life. Even Marcus Aurelius, Antoninus, because he was totally been follower of the simple life. He was one of the greatest emperor in the 2nd century BC, who has been here. And he lived so simple and a frugal life, but he was an emperor. No one can, challenge him during his lifetime. Finally, he left everything, because he didn't have anything. He left everything to his sisters and all. He was very simple life is considered to be the most eloquent way of living. Once you philosophically get into the highest mode of elevation and understand yourself. The same thing was nothing but reflected by Federico Feggi, because what I have said, what I've shared last week with you, that's what he is trying to bring in some sort of a unification of the intuition and how to lead a simple life. It's not all that, because we are talking about certainly, because the scientific progress will have to take place, the quality of life will have to improve, but doesn't mean, it is the be all and the end all of it, because there are so many other things that we'll have to do. Having done that, the Vairagya was being explained in the first 2 mantras. Next mantra, then it said, what is the reason for us to get intelligence in this world? The Sapta Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, which you talked about. Because that is how, we got into this world. And once you are able to master that, so that's why, because that the mantra was very important in that. Then the last word of is this verily that. That's what they said. This mantra, what we have last week we have said is Yena Rupam Rasam Gandham Shabdan Sparshancha Maitunan. So when all these Rupam, the form, Rasam is the taste, Gandham is the smell, Shabdan is the words, Sparshan is the feel, touch, because when you have all these things, Yena Rupam Rasam Kantan, when they have Maitunan it said, because it is finally what it does. It makes all the persons, so much intelligent. Finally, you look for something of an object or a person. Maitunan is nothing but the coupling, because you have to couple with the object, couple with the person, and finally you have it. Because what happens, because when all the senses individually they are functioning, when you are getting into this, all the senses together, because they give you the pleasure of, because having it, because like whether you got a beautiful Mercedes or anything like that house, and initially, because afterwards, you will be seeing the house, how beautifully you have done up, and you will hear if you are on the seafront, you will be listening to the voice of the waves. And because the breeze will be coming through, you will be feeling it all through. All these things will be there. Only for how long? It is only till such time everything is in the place. And suddenly there is a storm, there is a tsunami and all. Because everything will change. Because you have to go out of this place. You will not be able to survive if you are in that place. Suddenly there is something comes out. Because you had an attraction to have everything there, you went there. But then, because you are able to think it's only for that period of time. Afterwards, it is not there. That's what it says. Maithunan, yeta yenaiva. This is how Vijanati, you understand this world and you get into it then, and you know this is what finally you get Vijanati. This is the knowledge you get out of that. Once you have understood this is it, then you will not have it, because initially you have it, afterward the kimatra parisishyate. What left is to be learnt. If you learnt everything, these are all because of the sensibilities, you are able to get the senses. We have seen in the last Valli, one mantra you must be remembering. The objects are the one which are taking the weight, but the senses are subtler than the objects. And the sensibilities are subtler than the senses. That is, the Sapta Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. So beyond, even before the sensibility is so subtle, the mind is subtler than that. Because whatever you see, the mind doesn't get grasped. Whatever you get attracted, what is meaningful, what is helpful, what is required to store, and then only how it does it. But otherwise, it will take everything. And as a sort of information ocean, it gets it. But then when it is being processed, it goes to the buddhi. It gives it to the buddhi. But if buddhi accepts, the discrimination is there, then it accepts and gets stored into your memory. You repeatedly go for if you write a book, particular book on a particular subject, then you go on reading that book or similar authors in the same subject, or further, because on to the subject, whoever is written, you go on reading it. But you don't go on reading all other, because there could be fiction also, but you may not be reading it because that is not your point of view. Your understanding is different. Your discrimination is different. Likewise, it said, likewise, you go on doing it. And beyond, the intelligence is so subtler than the mind, it will tell you what you exactly need. And beyond the intelligence also, what our scriptures and because what the experience of the masters says, the cosmic intelligence is much superior than the intelligence. So it gives you because what the cosmic intelligence does, it does gives the intuition. The super intelligence, because beyond the intelligence, when you think, because you are doing, when you are at the crossroads, when you are not able to decide, with the intelligence also, when your discrimination is not helping, something comes, that is the cosmic intelligence. That is coming because you are not taken anything, you've gone, you're transcended, you're just reflecting yourself. What is the best that can be done at this moment? When it happens, it is not only going to be good for you, good for everyone around. So when you are going to be a part of the team, where you are going to contribute, that the team is going to achieve something much bigger, that is the effort. The team has got it, because you have visualized and they also had the same goal. The cosmic power has put you into the team. Why suddenly we find, everyone is, because having the same wavelength, and we are very, very happy to discuss and do something collectively. And whereas somewhere else, we go and we are not able to do something, because the people are having a different approach. See, they will be, if you are the person, who is talking about scriptures, and if you come to the meditation, and he has to go to the extent, what is it required? Meditation is there everywhere in this. When you are doing anything, in the day, in your work, in your time, it is a meditation. Because when you are giving everything with the mindfulness as well as total dedication, that is meditation. But to make it, the possible, you will have to practice it, because initially you will be thinking of so many things, so many thoughts will be frittering away. To bring it into your focus, you are doing the meditation. It's not that, because after 1.5 hours, yes, I did the meditation, I looked everything very clear, and I had, the clarity and all. But then once you approach everything with that, over a period of time, it may not happen, because by practice only, everything is by practice. Because in Gita, one verse is there in the last chapter, because he says, whatever I have to tell you, I have told you. Now it is up to you whether accept and practice or not, he says. So that our philosophy is such, it is never a regulated philosophy unless, Lord Krishna never said, you will have to read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme. I have said that you have to read. No one, never has there been any statement? No. It is a part of Mahabharata. Vyasa has written. It has been given in the chapter, in a particular chapter. These 18 chapters are coming as a part of the Mahabharata. And the pure wisdom that has been written, that has been picked up by all the masters. No one has said. And it is in the course of the where, because the circumstances in which it is in there, when you are in full of action, when you have to do everything, there is no option to remain idle. At that point of time, when it has been written, it becomes a sort of a practical wisdom for the way to live in this world. That's how it has been taken, because Krishna has never written that, and nor no one has said, Vedas have not said, unless you learn it and all, because they have all left the Shrutis. It is for you to take it. If you are able to take it, you do it. And that same thing he told Arjuna also. I have told you, it is up to you. If you accept that, because you understand that, and if you think, it is going to help, certainly you will be there. And because Arjuna, being a very dedicated student and happens to be his friend, philosopher, and guide, Krishna happens to be that, he was able to take it, but with all the skepticism. He also had the same skepticism as us, all of us do have. He has asked the same question. In one particular chapter, he says, don't think it is the first time I have told you. It's not the Gita first time it has been recited to Arjuna, and elsewhere also is. In the Gita itself, he says, I have told to the Vivashvan. Vivashvan is the sun gods, the originator, because who is the originator of the entire sort of the life. I have told him, he is from him only that Ishvaku, that entire Vamsa of Rama has come. I have told him, and from there, all the Ishvaku and all the lineage, they have learnt it. Then Arjuna asks a simple question like us. See, you were not there at that point of time when Vivasvan are there. How do you know? They have, you told them and all. He says, you and me are always there. In all the yugas, we are there because the soul is there every time immemorial. But you don't remember, I remember. That is the only difference. Who is God? The God is the one who is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. But we do have, because we are not able to, in the sense, we have not focused ourselves. We are not, put ourselves, into that stream of mind, because so that we cannot be this one. We will not be able to remember. Because that's why a great masters, when something, is likely to happen or something happens, they are able to sort of get the intuition. Something is, because they say, because even if you, some of the masters, even they are supposed to, about to be passing off, they are able to get that, and because they tell, because what is to be done, and or they give the necessary instructions what is to be done, and they left it. Because I think I have narrated the last day of Swami Vivekananda. I think that is something seen to be believed. It was a book that was presented to me by Swamiji of Ramakrishna Mutt during one occasion. When I happened to read, I was just being, last day he was so active. He was lot of, in fact, he was extra active. He was full of energy. In Belur Mutt, because he was running, he was rather instructing everyone to do so many things. He asked, see the plan of so many other things and all. He has kept everything under, because see, the entire Ramakrishna order has taken, he has put the seed and started, the Vedanta institutes in US, and he made some, the Belur Mutt, because he brought it everything and all, he put all the blueprint. Afterwards, how it has developed and all, this all the seedlings and the advice what he has given and all. The last day he has given, and he is asking, the few of the young monks who have come, because he's just asking questions about, some of the Upanishadic statements, and then he goes, and then during the after the just about a frugal lunch, he just goes about meditation. He allows no one to disturb. Again, he comes back. After a while, he gives the instructions, and finally he goes to the meditation and he asks them not to disturb. And at the end, because one of the very closest friend of his one, and the master, when he goes and sees, because of course he has already left his body even before he completed the 40th year. That is a wonderful, because see, they had all those vision, and because they know what is likely to happen. They have given that and all, and the power with which they have had the intuition, they have given the instruction and all. Today, the Ramakrishna order has grown, and in fact, they have gone about so many places and doing so many great things. Likewise, all the masters have done, because like Ramana Maharishi also, even before he left, he gave so many things and instructed and all, the things are taking place even now. Likewise, all the masters have done everywhere. And so this is exactly, to get the Kim. So once you understand that, once the intuition is going to be finally, what is the final understanding of your own existence, what you are going to get of the world, then it says, Kimatra parisishyate. There is nothing to be known about it. In the sense, the center of consciousness who has brought you into this world, into the womb of your mother, was guided, all through you, the life, because when the bodily existence, when it had, and finally, because when the body leaves, he is going to be the center of consciousness still after you leave the body. There is nothing. This is almost the answer to the third question, but it's not so emphatically given. That is going to be given in 2 mantras later. So with this only, that is verily that. Etad vai tat. No, it is supposed to be Mahavakya in Advaita, what we talked about. So this is that exactly what the Shankaracharya also has highlighted. Look, from his point of view, he said, once you have understood, because these are all the things, because finally you understand, you understand the self. Once you know that this is verily that, in the sense that once you know your inner self, that is good enough. That's all. Once you know, what else is need to be known much. But otherwise, others are telling the center of consciousness continues till such time. Even when you leave the body, it is there to guide. This is, of course, because the way it is interpreted is, because always, without the power, you will not be able to be, have the body and leave the body. Why Shankaracharya has given the sort of self and the Atman, or the self and the body, Atman and body are same, but of course in a different level of intelligence. Vyavaharika and Paramarthika, why he has said that is, he has given interpretation. He says even body as an object. So you understand everything, all these Ruparasa Gandha, and how do you understand? Because your mind is the repository of understanding that the Sapta Sparsha Ruparasa Gandha, and you got the feel, your DNAs are there and they have been trained and they have been conditioned to understand that. Your body is there, and body and mind also, he says it is an object. Because for that objection, if someone raises, how can you understand only through body and mind, how can be self and the body, the Atman and the Jiva can be, because in fact, Jiva is there as long as your awareness of the body. That is what Advaita says. Once, because the body goes, the question of Jiva doesn't arise, it is only the self all is left. That is, but others have said, because the Jiva is very much there, but how it is there, this is exactly next 2 mantras will try to clarify this, because this is the philosophical discourse. But while doing that, what they are, all that they are telling is, once you know into the sensibilities and senses, they are only the world. Once you have understood that, you don't have to be having any fear, because there is someone who is always guiding you. Be you call it self or the center of consciousness, through him only you get all this understanding. As long as he's there, you don't have to be have any. You have to be fearless. Nirbhayatva. That is absolute sort of a nirbhayatvam is, fearlessness is not something, because you are fearing something and all. It's not that. You are able to, I'm here, I got the understanding, I can live myself. The confident enough to know your because understanding of your existence and go through the world. This is exactly that's being talked about. And basically when they come to this, because this is the next mantra before we go, this is what all the masters have experienced. So when the masters, when they experience, because even when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's story, when I said, because he was suffering, but still he was doing all those things and all, because they have got that knowledge already, because all this suffering or the pain and all what has come about because of the Saptasparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. It is happening to the body, and they have also taken body as an object. But it is too difficult to conceive body as an object, because through the body only we are operating, and the body and mind is the one as of now we are able to perceive and realize. And this they say, even assuming because body and they are not object, don't have to fear anything and all. It is always because once you know, yes, this is how you are getting the knowledge, and even after this, that center of consciousness is going to be there. Your soul is going to have its own journey, because you are going to be having a continuous wonderful journey. You don't have to worry about it. This is to take out the fear. This is the cognizance of sense experience. Once you know that, sense experience is only to understand the world and understand the finality of why I am here, what is the purpose for which I am here, and what I am to do in this world during this process. Should I have to indulge in, because all these things, or should I have to do whatever is my goal? Because it need not necessarily be, because need not necessarily be in the sense, that you have to be devoid of all the experiences and go to the secluded places and all. It's not that. You be active in this world, but active with the purpose. But your intention should be very, very clear. And what we should have is the clarity of the mind, and the clarity of the mind is in purity of the mind. Samanaska, one word we have used. Whenever you do a meditation or whenever you do anything and all, when you do with the desire, because desire you do, you have certain things to do and all. But your intention of the desire is going to be something noble. Noble in the sense, noble for you, noble for everyone. It is going to be something for achieving a great purpose. You will be having a great purpose in your life. The purpose which you are doing, your intention what you are having, without causing any harm, injury to anyone else, and without having any discomfort to anyone else. But you are having some ambition, I want to do it. I want to build this organization. I want to have, because the separate set, because I want to train the students in a particular way, the children in a particular way. I want, because make, some sort of a online, because courses, so that the people can get the benefit of it and all. You start that, but don't go about it, because I should have this and all. Once you start it with the intention, it will grow anyway. So, because the intention is the seed more than what you are doing. Your intentions are very clear, and your intentions are very pure. It will automatically happen, and the grace of the God will be there for everything what you do. You don't have to worry about that. This is exactly what they talked about it. And the next mantra is Swapnanantam Jagrutantam Cha Ube Yena Anupashyati. In the sense, Swapnanantam Jagrutanantam Cha Ube Yena Anupashyati. It's a page number 89 of the document I have sent. It is nothing but what we have seen in the Mandukya Upanishad itself. What you got in the dream and what you got in the waking world, both of them, Yena Anupashyati, in the sense, both are perceived by that, and because that gives you this, the consciousness lights up, because your perception, then you are able to get to know what is happening in this world, and you are totally getting this because you are trying to work in this world, the waking world. How you are able to get in? Because when you are doing something in this world, you know, what purpose you are doing it. When you are doing it, you mindfully work on that without dissipating your energy into other things. You want to excel in that, so that it will, whatever you are doing, whether you are teaching, whether you are having a job, whether you are following some other pursuit, it will all be that, because that is your duty to do. Because you have been taken up in as that is you're taken up on your own. You want to do it, mindfully do that. You excel in that. And who gives the power to do that? That is what Yena Anupashyati, are perceived by that. And that is one who is giving you the power. The one who enables you to do it in your dream state also. Because see, the dream state, it's not that always you have about a dream of getting something for your comfort or use. You may get that also. That's also will be there. A person was getting a dream long before. He has not seen that place at all. He was from a village. He, in fact, because he has got some education and he got into some small government department. He got a dream, and it happened as it is. And he never thought, because he thought about all these things and all. He was very happy with whatever he was getting, and he has got his parents are there, and he was yet to be married. But he said, whenever if I get an opportunity, people are going abroad, to study and all, because you will have to apply, you will have to do all those things. He didn't have all that wherewithal and the sort of the money power to do all those things. Suddenly, someone, because through some source, someone, you see, he's a very good boy, because he has already got the education. Why can't it be? Because he got an opportunity, he was picked up and sent abroad. Someone took him abroad. Today, he is the top nuclear scientist in US. He never imagined, because it's a known case to me. Likewise, a lot of cases have happened. And he always used to think, because, sir, I at times, think, I am in a very big place, where wide roads are there, I have not seen why the dream is coming to me. He was sharing with a friend of mine, telling, because how is it possible, I have never, and I don't want all these things, and I want to be, happy with my parents here and all. But it so happened, because it's likely to happen, it happened. Because how it happened? Because he has not seen anything. For dream, at least you should have some knowledge. You should have seen, because if you want to desire a car or a place or a house and all, you must have had something in mind. But nothing is there. He has not seen anything. It comes like that. There are so many things, people who have not seen, because he has not seen the person who has never seen, because he will never join the army. And, because it happened to him, because, in a dream, he is always only thinking about his village. Some people have joined the army and all. He was having that in the mind. That's all. Afterwards, he was not a very puny person. Finally, because he got an opportunity like that, all those things comes up mainly because someone creates that. Someone creates a dream, the impossible dream, which you make it possible. Finally, you are able to work for that. Who gives, in the waking stage, you are able to work that. That is the power of, because the entire mindfulness and the working, with the total dedication, devotion. Rest of it comes. And when you are doing a mindfulness, when you are giving all this sort of effort, into whatever you are doing, that becomes a meditation. That is a meditation. Not necessarily, you only sit for a few hours and do it. When you are able to give everything, whatever you have, a sculptor gives his entire power to the sculpture, or a painter gives it to the dead. Whatever you are doing, that is the most important thing. Mahantam vibhutatmanam matva dhiro na sachati. Because who gives that? Because that the Mahantam in the sense, is the Antaratman. And, who is the one? Vibhu. Vibhu in the sense, Vibhu is the biggest one. When we say, because Vibhu is the one who occupies all the places and who is also able to give the power into whoever you are in. Because which in all of us, there is a power. The power is there, which we call it Brahman. The Brahman is inside also, outside also. Because as Ishavasya Upanishadam has said, he is there everywhere, all over the world. He is also pervading all through the world. He is also inside every living being, as well as every object in this world, because so that, he is able, the essence is he. Finally, he is able to give. The substratum, as Advaita calls it, is he. And otherwise, he is the power who gives it. And Vibhudatmanam Matva Dhiro Nasauchati. Because then it makes you, once you know that you have got the power who is giving you and who is giving you all those dreams, which is not possible for you to have, and make it in a reality, what you call it, the visualization or manifestation, which really happens. But you don't visualize, but you don't have any source to visualize. You visualize, but it happens to you. So when it happens to the Dhiro Nasochati, that is the wise man, that they don't bother about it, because they don't bother, whether it is going to be good or bad. Because see, both of them can happen. See, some other things in a waking stage, something good may happen, something, because you may get some experience which may be bad as you think at that moment. But it may be good for you. From there, you will be able to take note of it and avoid the errors and mistakes which otherwise you will be doing it. Who gives you all those things? That is the power. Finally, he gives it. This is what this mantra has said about it. It is it's a little philosophical. The both the mantras what we have talked about. Actually, next mantra is also there. I am not taking it, because it has to be seen in conjunction with the all the three mantras. We will be taking over next week. The sum and substance of the entire thing is, once we are trying to understand beyond our power, because whatever we are doing is everything is within our power. As long as the reason is able to help you, you have everything going very well. When the reason fails, you think, why it happened to me? I did everything right. And reason fails, the faith also begins. Someone else, because it might be like that, because let us forget about it. You go to this person, he will tell you, and they will try to guide you, because this is it and all. Not at all, because at that point of time, we had some state of confusion. We were not able to do what is right at that point of time. Once you have the clarity, you will be able to do it. But to get the clarity, what is that? Finally, you will have to work on that. Thinking that, because once taking the finger, whatever you are getting into the world, certainly it is good. Don't get too much on every time. You try to reflect before you go about doing that's a new thing and all. When you are doing it also, course correction also you can do. Sometimes you might have done, someone might have made started a startup. It may not be functioning, but it may not be having a desired outcome. But you can just pause it and because try to find. So if you don't have the sort of a skill set, you can call because you can have people as your partners. Sometimes otherwise you can acquire the skill set. You will be able to reflect on that. It will give you the right intuition, and the right intuition for whatever you are doing within your capacity at that point of time. For that, everything you will have to be equipped. For that, you will have to work for that. When you are working, he gives you all the power. So even he gives you the power, in fact, in Gita says he gives you the power for whatever you want to do. Even if you want to indulge in some nefarious activities also, the person he plans, because his mind says. Why it is telling? Because the Prakriti has given the three gunas, sattva, rajasa and tamasa. All of us are endowed with that. We have got all the three. None of us are fully, sattva, rajasa and all. We have got all the components. But the more we get into the reflection mode and all, because the tamas has become a part of rajas, we makes it into, which makes us, enables us to work very well in the practical world with whatever, the index of success, what we see. And once you see the success, the meaning of the success, the rajasic, totally becomes sattvic. You don't find, because only all the meaning in the successes, because the wealth and other things and all. The sattvic, once you comes, it is not that you stand, you continue doing it. You do it in such a way, you don't get taken away by the success totally. Success incidentally will come. Because it enables you. You will get the resources. The resources will flow. You will be able to continuously grow. So what happens is, you become a not only role model, you become a point of focus through which all others will get the benefit of it. So this is how the whole society was supposed to be living, because by having the Upanishad and Vedic knowledge in those days. That is why the Shrutis were being recited by year to year. By hearing, from one person to another, it was passed on. Once you are hearing, because not only hearing, that is Shravana, then Manana, because you said, boy, what they have said, does it have any meaning? Because you go on sort of repeating it, and reflection is thinking about it. Is it really something meaningful? Am I able to understand? Am I able to change? It has to bring about a change, because I will have my own sort of conditionalities. My own sort of, the idiosyncrasies will be there. I may have to change. It enables you to change. The scriptures and Upanishad, finally the purpose of it is to bring about a change in us, so that, because the change is so much good for us. In that process, we are able to do something much bigger for others also. It's not only that, we will be happy, we will make others are also happy. This is the intellect and the individual intelligence. how it can also get the access to the cosmic intelligence. Finally, we will be able to get something called intuition. The intuition is a cosmic intelligence. Your antenna should be up on transcendence, because at that point of time you get the this intuition. The intuition helps you to get the right solution at the right point of time. Even the scientific discoveries are more intuitive. Then you cannot say, because how only it occurred to a particular person when so many people are working all over the world and thousands of groups may be working on one particular group succeeds. It is the intuition at that point of time. They got it and they worked on it and they worked as a team. It is like that. So it is again finally coming to something what we call as God's grace. Otherwise, you can see the excellence that has come about by virtue of constant mindfulness. This is what it is like this. And we will continue next week, and we will not have any sort of a session. Today I am also having a glitch here. And of course, now I am able to go through. I think we will see the next week. If you have got any doubts or, because it is too much philosophical, and I think you can always share it with me, as well as you can ask me right now. And then we will be meeting the next week. Next week, I think, we will be having a composite of all the 5 mantras. The next mantra also we will include, and we will give the gist of what these 5 mantras have brought us and how it is different from what we have seen earlier. That is going to be the focus next week. After that, we will be going to the next set of mantras. We have got the 49 mantras in the second adhyaya. Now we are just about the fourth mantra of the first adhyaya, the second adhyaya we have started. And of course, rest of the mantras we will go. We will be little passing and going, because each one of them are going to have a reference to the Gita. Gita Bhashya also is going to be referred, because all these mantras are basis for some of the mantras that has come about in Gita. That we will see that. Thank you. If you have anything you can ask, otherwise we can close the session.
Just one small, I mean, this is, I think, the full total. Basically, intuition, gut feel, God space. Once we start acting from them, everything will fall in place.
Actually, there is a one difference, madam. Gut feel and the intuition are two different. See,
are they different? Okay.
Gut feel is, because more like, what we can call, that is something, you try to do it, because without any, just like the shot in the dark. See, because you're sometimes it may not be, but maybe, what you are saying, you try to mean the same thing, intuition, in a different way. Because when you have got too many options, to choose, you will have to choose one. So what happens is, when you are saying whether am I to do this or not, and you may be doing a thing, which you are totally different from what you are planning. That is intuition.
No, I was looking at gut feel means sometimes you just look at something and you want to do it.
So, yeah, because that is correct. That's correct. Because long, you have waited long. You waited long, you thought about long, but nothing is happening. Let me do this first and all.
No, okay, take care. Fair enough. Maybe I'm calling something else as gut feel.
Okay. Then you can say that. See, gut feeling is the one which gives you the flash at that point of time. You are convinced, yes, this is what I have to do.
But when, okay, that was something was happening on the road and no one else was going ahead. And there was no decision making. It was only whether.
Correct.
You should help someone. That's something might as well help. So that was more on gut feel. That time I didn't think, okay, whether will this affect me adversely or anything. I was like, I don't normally do that. Is it?
Absolutely, madam.
It's okay.
But as long as your intentions are pure, you see, you can take it for granted. Your gut feeling will also help you. The intention behind, that is what is important. If the intention is pure, that is what, in fact, it will help you anywhere, because the intention is, otherwise, because what happens is, even if you want to do something good, of course, if the intentions are different, you want to, in the sense, you are influenced by something and all, you are part of the particular group, because like that and all. So it may work out, a different way at that point of time. See, even there, what happens to the wise people, even something goes wrong, let us assume, even if you have a gut feeling you exercised and all, immediately you get, the course correction, that also immediately comes to you. And what is the alternative? You will have to do that. And you look for that, and it also comes across to you. It comes across and it presents itself to you. It's not that you will have to go for that. This has happened a lot of time. Because basically we don't give attention to that, because we are so much, involved in the disappointments and why it is not happening. There, because the mind is clouded, because look, I am the only unlucky in the world and all. No one is unlucky. God is wants to make everyone a lucky. Only thing is, simple thing they say, you make him as a partner. Look, I am doing this. If it is going to fail, you are also going to fail with me, but you will have to help me to come back again. If it succeeds, you are going to be, it's not that you are not going to gloat, because look, I did it and all. He's also part of you. He's also doing it. And once you have him as a partner, see, I'm just telling you one small anecdote and close it. See, in Gangotri, you might have seen, Gangotri, those who have gone, people have gone, I think, maybe Prabhuda might have gone. I didn't have the occasion to go, and because in the early, Gangotri was still earlier times, it was little far away from what is there now. And in those days, some monks.
You are saying. Achha, you're talking about Gomukh.
Gomukh.
Okay.
And there, a lot of monks used to go there, and they had the Chaturmas, what they call 3 to 4 months, they stay there. And they are supposed to take alms. Alms in the sense they arrange, because there are a lot of groups they arrange and they have to be there and all. One of the Ramakrishna monks also, he was there. He is a very famous person in US now, because Swami Swarupananda, Sarvapriyananda. He was telling, he was there, and at that point of time, he was Advaita stream. Basically, because every stream is good stream. Unless you have the fundamentals of the stream, you will not be able to go for transcendence, and all those things. You can be Advaita, Visishta Advaita, doesn't matter, because he was from that stream. So he was telling, he was reading a book. There is a mark, small huts are there. They have to stay in that hut only during the winter. So in that, he was reading a book, that the old monk by the side of his hut. He asked him, what is that you are reading? He said, I am reading something called Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra Gita, you might have heard. Ashtavakra is a very sort of a highly philosophical Advaita stream, where it renouncing, giving up everything that it has talked about, and the world is illusion. That's what Ashtavakra says, King Janaka. Look, whatever is you are seeing is only a dream. It's all not going to be happening and all. See, already Janaka is an enlightened sage himself. Likewise, I am reading that book and all. The other old monk said, you also read, he gave him an old torn out book called Vishnu Sahasranamam. It talks about thousands names of Vishnu. All how each name of Vishnu is a different particular, the connotation. Not only that, because it is a summary of something called Bruhu Samhita. Bruhu Samhita is 72,000 verses, in the Veda. It has been condensed and recited by Bhishma in the Shanti Parva at the last minute too, when Arjuna and Yudhishthira were asking for his advice, on deathbed. He recited that to give the gist of the entire Brihu Samhita. Once you recite this Vishnu Sahasranama, the philosophical import of it, we have got 72,000 notes in the body. 36,000 notes are called Ida, and 36,000 notes are called Pingala. So the 72,000 notes, when you recite the Vishnu Sahasranamam, which is nothing but the condensed version of Brihu Samhita, which is having 36,000 verses, and each verse has got couplet, that is Vyanjana, one more, that is 72,000. All the 72,000 notes energized, you get into the highest mode of energy and wisdom. It will not, because that is what Bhishma advised at that point of time to Yudhishthira. You do that, you will be a sort of not only a king, as a being, human being, highest human being, evolved human being, and you will be having all the happiness because your notes are all taking you kindly to the Sahasrara. Sahasra Sisha Purusha Sahasracha Sahasrabat. That is what, because that finally, we Purusha Suktam, when we recite, it is there and all. So likewise, when that monk told him this Sarvapriyananda, he said, because you recite that also, you will not feel lonely. Ashtavakra Gita, in the sense, you will be renouncing everything. Once you have Brihu Samhita, means all the 72,000 notes will be energized. You will be a sort of a fully, because you will fearless. Nirbhayatvam, when they say, in Bhajagovindam also, Nirbhayatvam on words is coming. Nirbhayatvam is absolutely, you got the person, the Parabrahma is with you at any point of time. Your notes are being energized, he is going to take care of it. Whether the body is there or not, that is immaterial. So once you have that, that is highest fearlessness. The fearlessness is, the arise, awake and fear not, when Vivekananda said, that is what the sense is. So you do not have to fear about it. Once you don't have to fear about any of the consequences, what is there to be fear about? Kimatra parisishyate, this mantra. Etat vai tat, that is wherein that. That is exactly this mantra has said. This is what is going to be repeated. Etat vai tat is going to be repeated in other mantras also. We will see. With this, I will conclude, because I said even in Gomukh, at the height of it, the old monk advised him, don't do that. You got someone always to help, be with you. Nothing to worry. That means we don't have to worry. Someone is always with you, so we can be happy, always. With this, we will conclude today's. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau punaktu, sahaviryam karavavahaihi, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhudas. See you next week. Thank you. Krishnan
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next week. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Take care.
Thank
All
you.